All right. So up next we have Chantel Gamble, aka Coach Shan, who is a highly motivated health coach and consultant. She's traveled the country coaching in school design and health and wellness, designing and facilitating effective youth and adult programs. She's the founder of Brave Heart Health, a nonprofit named for her mother's fight with congestive heart failure and her own journey with cancer. Braveheart's mission is to provide underserved communities with experiences and exposure to holistic healing, healthy habits, lifestyle changes, self-care, community, and fun. And today, Coach Shan is going to be talking about securing the bag. And I can read a little bit about this if you want, Coach Shan, or you can let the people know what you'll be talking about. Either way is perfect.
Yeah, thank you for that great introduction. I was like, I hope she doesn't read the whole thing. We'll be here forever. But thank you all for joining us today. This is an amazing event. I did not know about it before today, but I look forward to working with you all in the future. I think this is amazing that you're being to the community, especially transitioning to the virtual space to make sure that is still going on. So I just want to thank you all for joining us today in this space. I'm going to be presenting on something called Secure the Bag, rekindling our relationship with money. So I just want to declare that we're not going to be talking about investments or retirement funds or stocks or anything like that. We're going to talk more so about our relationships with money and how we can manifest and attract money through the ways that we think and different practices and rituals that we can incorporate in our daily lives. All right, so I'm going to share my screen. Okay, can you all see this? Nazinga, can you see it? Okay, great. Let me open this up. Okay, great. So I am, as Nazinga said, I am a health coach, a certified holistic health coach, and I am here to motivate others to work towards any goals that they have, health wellness goals. But one thing that I incorporate into my work is something called primary foods. So you all know about secondary foods. That's the food that we see on our plates. Those are the foods that brings us nutrition, but primary foods are the ones that you don't see on your plate. And it's kind of this circle of life tool that I like to incorporate, where you need to find balance in all aspects of life in order to balance out life and have a better quality of life. So I always like to say you can eat all the kale in the world, but how imbalanced are you? How aligned with your mission, your purpose, and yourself are you on a daily basis? So we go beyond food and health and wellness. We go into your social life, your joy, spirituality, creativity. And what we would do in the space is put a dot towards the center of the circle where you feel imbalanced, and a dot towards the outside of the circle right here where you feel like you're doing really well in that area. And then you start to connect the dots to see where you can use more help in your life and where you can find more balance. And this thing is really good to watch yourself grow over time. So today what we're going to be looking at is our financial health, because that is a type of health that a lot of us don't know. You have to have health and wellness in your financial areas as well. So did you all know that we are already wealthy, we are rich? We are rich in love and life and resources and other areas beyond money. And I think a lot of times people forget to think about that and how we have all of these resources around us and we focus on one thing, or we work really hard every day, or we take on more jobs to get money, but we're not focusing on the present and what we have now. So something we're going to look at as well is our gratitude for what we have already in life. So I'm going to ask you all to take this time to grab a pen and a paper, and we're going to do some work here and look at some responses that you all have around your relationships with money. So I'll give you about 2 minutes to grab a pen and a paper, and we have some people in the Facebook I know. We'll give you some time as well. And then we'll jump into some exercises. Are there any questions before we get started about what today is going to look like or anything like that? Anything on Facebook? You're muted.
Thank you. I'm not seeing anything on Facebook just yet, but I definitely will let you know if anything pops up.
Thanks. Anyone here want to tell me what type of bag that they're trying to secure? So your bag can look very different from the next person, right? It doesn't have to be money. It could be a particular opportunity that you want to manifest. Are there any people who have bags that they want to lock down, secure, maybe the next 6 months to a year? And I love calling on people. So let's see who we have. Kim, can you speak freely?
I can. See, I
Good.
keep getting calls.
I didn't see in the last session, so we're not plotting against you.
Okay. Okay. I think right now, I'm just looking to, secure some educational and financial goals by working for a second master's degree.
Awesome.
So that's my next 14-month plan. But longer term, it would be retirement.
Yes, awesome. Speak it into existence. I love it. Great. Thank you, Kim, for sharing. Awesome. All right, so I think everyone has grabbed their pen and pad by now. So we're going to look at something here called right to the point. And I want you to, if you want, you could choose all three to respond to, or you could just choose one and we'll start sharing out. But we're going to look at the karmic, the generational, and the younger self versions of our relationships with money. So what are some things you learned or heard about money from your family and or your culture as a child? How did these experiences shape your relationship with money as an adult? And if you could give yourself, your younger self, advice around money, what would you say? So let's take about 2 minutes to answer these questions. Again, you can answer all three if you like, or just 1 to 2, and then we'll share out.
All right, Coach Shan. So we have a couple responses in the chat.
Awesome. All right, we just got started.
Samira Bilal says wealth. That's the bag that they want to secure.
Got it. Got it.
And just as a continuation of that from Samira, for the next 6 months, home of my own bag. And open my own business bag.
Awesome. So we see how I said everybody's bag is different, right? But we can all secure them nonetheless. So one bag is home ownership, the other is entrepreneurship. We got retirement, and we have educational opportunities going back for our masters. So there are so many different bags you can secure. And these are different ways that we're going to look at how we can secure our bags, because our bags will change throughout time, right? It doesn't just have to be a money bag, but your bag can be, I'm going to secure my financial health. I'm going to secure my relationship. I'm going to secure so many other things. So from today, we're going to look at some rituals that you can also translate over to different manifestations. Is there anything else?
We have Kim Hamlet, who wants to secure the financially free bag.
Yes, and I love that she said financially free. We're going to talk about that as well, because there's so much power in the tongue, right? So saying debt and financial freedom are two different things. They give off two different energies, right? So your vibration is much higher when you say freedom versus debt. You don't feel as locked in. So we're going to talk about that a little bit more today as well. All right, so who do we have here? Let's see. Any faces? Anybody want to get us started on one of their responses and tell us what you wrote down? Okay, Samira, you can unmute yourself.
Hi, happy
Hi.
Juicy weekend.
Thank you, you too.
Thank you. So I just said, like, what I heard from when as a child, well, you have money, you can't spend it when you did. So I answered all three. So I think it's always because, and then like my trouble with money is I'm always spending even when I don't have it. And it's like a therapy. Like I'll be saying I'll go crafter, so I'll go spend at Joann's or something.
Yeah.
And then I would tell my younger self anything that I'm like trying to implement now, anything I want to do will come without being
I didn't catch that last part. You said it will whatever you want, it will come, and what?
I said at the anything that I want, I can get and will come to me without being broke at the.
Absolutely. Great. And that's a great attitude to have. Thank you for sharing. All right. Anyone else? So anyone heard anything from their parents, their grandparents growing up around money? Money doesn't grow on trees. I don't, whatever. Even little things like we got food at home, things like that to remind you about securing money. Kim, did you take yourself off mute?
Yeah, I did. I wanted to just say, yeah, my parents, your money can't buy your health or your character. So,
Absolutely.
um, but you got to pay your bills. I got married very young. I was 21 when I got married, and
Mm-hmm.
my mother's like, I really wish you had just like stayed in your own apartment and paid your bills first, which I ended up having, doing that. Always pay
Mm-hmm.
my bills first, but you have to enjoy now. As an older person, I always say it's just money. It's
Yes.
we'll make more because you will go to work and you will make more. But if I think about your third question, I wish I had invested more early
Mm-hmm.
in smart investments. But one of the best investments you can have is investing in people.
Yes, thank you. And I want you all to at least answer this last question. If you could give your younger self advice around money, what would you say? And just write that down. We're going to use it later on. Anyone else want to share?
We have
I,
Kim Hamlet who said that
hey, Kim,
they would like to share. Kim, you can
please
take yourself
do.
off mute.
Oh, sure.
Hi, Kim.
Hi.
Can you speak up a little bit? I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
Sure. Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Hi. What I learned, some of the things I learned is my family is, work hard and kind of get the things that you want to get on your own. Because
Mm-hmm.
I grew up like, I'm 55. So I remember asking my father and mother, can you buy me a leather bomber? They were like, no. They said,
You
no,
don't
get a
need
job.
them.
Yeah, no, get a job. So I ended up getting a job. And then from there, I was able, from the age of like, 14, 15,
Mm-hmm.
when it was time to go back to school. It's different now with my kids, when they were younger, but we were
Yeah.
able to buy our own things. I was on my own at 22. And then it shaped my relationship because I felt like I had to save money. And my mother she's from the Barbados, so she always said, always have your secret pot of money in case you
Mm-hmm.
need somebody, just in case, something
Money under the
happens.
mattress.
Right, right. And then if I could give my younger self advice, it would be, to invest, a little bit more. I mean, recently I started investing and I invested in my children's education, but I could never
Mm-hmm.
do what my parents did for me. I could never do for my kids. And one of the things I would give myself advice in as far as a relationship, I was married for 20 years and then I was
Mm-hmm.
divorced, but I realized like some of my money went into fixing somebody else's issue. And that's
Mm-hmm.
why I'm now working on being financially free.
Gotcha. Thank you for sharing. Awesome.
For sure.
Anyone else? Yeah.
Yep, we have a couple comments from Facebook.
Oh, great.
So Paige Ryan says, things I learned or heard about money was that it should be used and saved. Bills should be paid first. We work for money to spend it and enjoy it. Money doesn't equate to happiness. More money, more problems. And Marilyn Annette Thomas says, I agree with that statement, with the statement that was mentioned. The family said you can't spend it when you're dead and money doesn't grow on trees.
Mm-hmm.
And
So there are some families. Yeah, go ahead.
No, and this is from a little bit earlier when you were talking about the different vibrations of saying financially free versus
Yeah.
talking about debt. Marilyn Annette Thomas says, freedom releases a higher vibration. I like that.
Yes. Yes. Awesome. And it sounds like we have such a mix of family input here, right? So some families are like, yeah, spend it. You're not going to be able to take it with you. And others are like, hold on to it. You got to invest, or you got to do this and that, or you have to learn how to become responsible with your money right now at a young age. And I know for me, I got two messages that influenced me later on in life that I was able to work through as well. My grandmother would say, she would give me money every month. I was so fortunate, give me money every month while I was away at college. And she would say, buy the things you need, not the things you want. And so as an adult, I would always struggle with buying things that I wanted, things that made me happy, things that would bring me joy, because it wasn't what I needed. And so those are things that I struggled with and trying to figure out, well, I don't need this, but I really want it. And then I would also look at other people who were having fun with their money, and I felt bad or irresponsible if I did that with mine. So now I am growing into myself more and saying, I really want this class or this workshop or whatever this is, and I don't want to feel bad about it because I know I'm pouring back into myself in some way, and I'm investing into myself in some way. And then I have my father, on the other hand, who would say, don't ever depend on a man for anything. Be independent. I don't want you to be the woman who has to depend on any man. And so in a relationship, I became the person who kind of made my partner feel inadequate, or feeling like he didn't wear the pants in the relationship, in the sense of financing the relationship or paying for things. So that was another challenge that I had to work my way through, and making the other person feel like I am independent, but we can work through this together, and navigating that. So let's move on. Like I said, what we just did, we went through different types of energy and money relationships. So what did you hear as a younger person, and how has that influenced how you are now, and even generational, right? There was a time that as Black people, we were used as currency in slavery. We were the currency. And generationally, we have been set back a long time because we didn't get the resources or the knowledge to invest and to use our money wisely, or even making less than everyone else in the market. So we've had these generational issues and curses, like Coach Robin said. I know we just talked about generational curses. It's real, and it comes in the form of money. It comes in the form of health and wellness, and a lot of different areas that we carry on with us in us. So there are things that come along with us generationally, and how we handle money, and also karmic, our energy and how we treat others. So you might have a situation, people say karma comes back around. Karma could come back around in your finances as well, and you might not even notice it. So even your energy, which you put out and give on to other people, can come back in the form of your finances not being where you want them to be. So just being mindful of that as well. It's all energy, right? So your energy flows into your finances, your health, every area of your life. All right, so we're going to practice some more and take out our pens again. So I want us to look at ways that we could take shifts. We could take steps to make shifts in our mindsets and the practices that will help us get more of this money, right? Or the house that we want, or whatever type of financial freedom and what that looks like for each of us. So this might feel a little funny at first, but trust me on this one. We're going to do something called reverse brainstorming. And we're going to look at different energetic and financial goals that we can tap into to secure our individual bags. So think about ways that you can make your finances worse. Usually in brainstorming, we start jotting down ideas that make things better. But I know for a lot of us, if we focus on the bad, right, you could say, well, I'm not that pretty. My hair's not done this way, and I have all these bills, right? It's easier for us to think of the negative first. So let's work with that, right? If it does happen that way. So for example, instead of thinking, how can I improve my financial health? You think the reverse of that. I can continue to live above my means, and I can continue to believe that I will always be in debt. So are we all clear on how we're going to go about this exercise? I want you to think of a negative aspect of your finances. So instead of making them better, how can you make them worse? And list them down, maybe 3 to 5 ways that you can make your finances worse. And as uncomfortable as it might feel, I just want you to just try it. Humor me. And if there are any questions, just unmute yourself and let me know. So we're looking at 3 to 5 ways that we can make our finances worse. And isn't it for people in the Facebook, they could, if they're listening it, you could start us off actually and just start shouting them out if they have anything. And if you don't want to speak or be on camera, please feel free to drop them in the chat and we can read them out too.
Sounds good. I just asked in the chat on Facebook, so we'll wait for some people to take the bait.
Yeah.
This is from earlier. Marilyn Annette Thomas says, I wasn't educated about investing, saving, or the proper respect for being a steward of your money.
Mm-hmm.
It's a little earlier.
Yeah. And these are definitely conversations that we can start having with the next generation, but it also takes the part of educating ourselves. So if you don't have that information, or if it's lacking in our communities, it's definitely something that we need to invest in more so that we can pass that information along as well. Yeah. All right. So anyone in the group want to get us started? Ways that you can make your finances worse? Samira, are you still with us?
Yes, I'm here.
Were you able to? Oh, yeah, sure. What do you have?
Oh, sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, it's okay.
I said spending money I don't have,
Mm-hmm.
buying stuff I don't need and don't use, not investing in my needs, but just in my wants, and not saving.
Awesome. Thank you. We're going to use that in the next exercise. Thank you for sharing. Kim, do you have anything, Hamlet?
Which Kim?
No, Kim. I said Hamlet, but there she goes. And I'll call you next too. Don't worry.
Which Kim did you want? I'm sorry.
I would say
Hamlet. Oh, Roger's is going to go first.
on my charge card and going to Amazon and buying and buying and buying.
Got it. Awesome. Thanks. Kim Hamlet, you're up next.
It was hard I'm thinking about a negative, but I said I will always be behind. I will never be financially free. I will always be in the hole. I will never catch up with my mortgage.
Got it. Thank you. Moving at anything in the Facebook group?
Nothing in the Facebook group yet. I posted in our Zoom that I could make my finances worse by never paying my bills or not paying them on time.
Got it. Awesome. Living at my means. Awesome.
Okay.
Up on my mortgage.
We got a response from Paige Ryan on Facebook.
Okay.
She says, I could increase my loans, i.e. credit cards, car notes, student loans, etc., spending more money on my wants versus needs, not regularly keeping up with my account balances.
These are all great ways for us to dig bigger holes for ourselves financially, right? So let's take a look at the opposite of that. And so what we're going to do is take our negative list and we're going to flip it into a positive. So now we take these negatives, things that we know are wrong, that would not help us grow and would dig a deeper hole for ourselves, right? And say, I can continue to live above my means. I can continue to believe that I will always be in debt, and then change that language. Remember, we're talking about the power of the tongue, manifestation. I am responsible with how I manage my finances, and I do it with ease. It is safe for me to experience financial freedom. So you would say, I am living below my means, and I believe that I will find financial freedom one day. So Kim, what did you say? You said that you were not going to continue to buy on Amazon? Rogers?
Yes.
Awesome. So what is some way, how can you turn that into a positive?
When I buy on Amazon, I'm going to pay my bill in full every month.
Awesome. Or I could, monitor how much I buy on Amazon and be responsible with that. Awesome. And so we had here, Kim, you said, I will never catch up with my mortgage. I will always be in the hole. So how are we going to change that into a positive statement?
That I will catch up with I will catch up with my mortgage by listing that as my priority expense and continue to meet other expenses, and I will get out of that hole.
Awesome. Yeah, I won't be here forever. And what's another way that you could say this hole? Right? It's kind of similar to what we said about debt and financial freedom. What's another way that you could?
I will be financially free. The chains will be loose. The chains will be loose.
Yes, awesome. Break the chains. I love that. Changing the language. Yeah.
Yep, going along with that earlier, yeah, Robin said generational cycles and pathologies, they're not curses.
Yes, I saw that.
Mhm.
Yes, thank you for that. And what did you have, Nzinga? You said living out of your means, right? So what are some ways that you could flip this as well?
I could live below my means, spend less
Yeah.
money than I earn or that
Mm-hmm.
is flowing towards me.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. Great. So how do we feel about that? Does that help get us started at least on different positive ways that we can fix our finances? I want you all to be able to use something that will at least help probe us in a sense of, I don't know where to start, but I know what can make things worse. And then I can flip it and find the answers that I need. So this is just another way to get your brain churning and to help you get those ideas on paper if you ever get stuck. And so another thing that helps, like I said, power of the tongue, manifestation, these are different affirmations that we can use. So I'm grateful I now have zero balances on my credit cards. It is safe for me to experience financial freedom. I attract all opportunities that bring me joy and prosperity. I release any karmic and generational limiting beliefs around money. Remember, we talked about that before. What happened before in your family that you might not know about? So you break the chain, you break these cycles before they get to the next generation. It is safe for me to be wealthy, right? Everyone can be wealthy, and wealthy can mean something different to everyone. You don't have to make, even if you make over six figures, someone who makes less than you can be wealthy. It's the way that we spend our money. It's the ratio of our money that we have versus what we can spend, right? So even if you do make six figures, but you're irresponsible with your money or you have more debt, then those things don't add up. And so the person making less than you is more wealthy than you. And your wealth can be in your head. Like I said earlier, we are all wealthy. We're all rich in different areas of life. And it's that gratitude and that recognition that allows us to increase our quality of life. So another thing is I have more than enough money to supply all my needs and my wants. I allow financial abundance to flow to me. And one of my favorites is something that helps me out plenty of times is money comes to me easily. So just to pause and share a story, last year at this time, I was unemployed. My organization did some restructuring and I was unemployed for 8 months. It was the first time that that ever happened to me and I didn't know what to do. And all I had was my rituals and my family members to help in unemployment, which wasn't much. And so I still had to find and make a way. And so it's through that that God allowed me to realize that I need to use my other gifts in order to bring in more income, which is what allowed me to flourish with my coaching and spend more time in crafting that, honing in on that so that I could perfect those skills and bring it to others. And so now I have three sources of income and I went from 0 to 3 in a year. And so that's something that I want you all to just sit and think about because it can come to us if you put in the work and if you put in the time to break these cycles, to work on yourself and to build that relationship. There's a difference from operating from lack and operating from abundance. So I knew at the beginning I felt this lack of money. I didn't know what was next. I didn't know what to do next. And it wasn't until I started digging into these rituals and changing my mindset that I realized I am abundant and money comes to me easily. And I said that every day. And then it started coming to me easily, right? So it's in the work. It's something that is very doable and it can happen. So I hope that you get some inspiration from some of these exercises. So like I said, we're going to look at, and one of my favorite rituals is to do this, this money cleanse that has helped me in the past, and I continue to do it now, and I share with others to help get them on track. I just want to check in real quick. Nzinga, any questions before we get into this? You're muted.
No questions from Facebook right now.
Awesome. Okay. So we're going to get into some things. I'm going to share my space with you all. I did forget my reminder, but we're fine. So, excuse me. The first thing I have here is to sage your space. And so sage is like the bleach of spiritual cleansing, right? And when I say that, I say it because it clears everything, positive and negative energy, right? So you would just light your sage and you will clear your space. And I like to say, I bind and banish any negative energies that I might have encountered today or that are in this space. And so when I say it clears out the positive and the negative, I also like to use, which I'm almost done with, my Palo Santo, which is good for clearing the space, but bringing in back those positive energies and vibrations that you want in your home. So you open your windows. I also have a little feather that I use, and just make sure that from top to bottom, I'm cleansing the space and my home so that I'm clearing myself of those energies. And that's something that you could do too. So next we have expressing gratitude. And that's what I mentioned earlier about just giving thanks for what you do have, for the wealth that you do have in certain areas of your life. And that's your abundance right there. And so tapping into the sources of abundance that you already have, being thankful for them. And so that increases your abundance to bring in more flow and more energy into your life. And if you meditate or if you pray, at least, do that for about 5 to 10 minutes a day, in the morning or in the evening before you go to bed, if you can make time. I like to set a reminder on my phone. I know that we are all busy. I put a little reminder in my phone just to say, stop and pray, or gratitude and grace and things like that, just to stop me for a second and recenter me and ground me where I am. And I like to do that before working on this ritual as well, just giving thanks. So we started with the power of the tongue and changing our language and setting those intentions. So what we saw before, those affirmations, there are different ways to say how you want to increase your flow of energy and money, other than I'm in debt or the hole and I won't have enough. So we're changing that language. I'm trying to pay off this debt by the end of the year. And so what you want to say, like we mentioned before, is more so financial freedom. The vibration is higher, it brings in different energy, and it feels motivating and gets you going. So I like to write out my affirmations 3 times from different perspectives. For me, if I say it to myself, it's different than me hearing it from someone else. So I incorporate all of them and I do it 3 times each, so that I start to believe it and I start to think this is true, it is obtainable, and this is mine. So for example, it is free for me to experience financial freedom. And I'll write that 3 times. And then it goes, Chantel, it is safe for you to experience financial freedom. And it is safe for Chantel to experience financial freedom. All 3 of those perspectives ring a different bell for me. I feel it for myself, but I also feel like, okay, if someone else sees it and feels it for me, then maybe I can do it. A lot of my life outside of this, people seeing things in me and telling me I can go for something, things that I don't see in myself, is a lot of how I operate now. So to hear that, and I'm thinking, I can experience financial freedom. Why not? Why can't I get the resources that I need to experience this freedom like everyone else? So you start to believe those things, and you write it every day until you start to get it and you believe it, and then you see it. And when you start seeing these things, you go back to the gratitude, even if little things, a penny on the floor, a free drink, a free cup of coffee, someone mixed up their order or something like that. I've given gratitude for that. Just, Starbucks, they gave me an extra coffee. Okay, that's something. The universe is trying to tell me something. I found money in my pocket, whatever the case is, a raise at work, an unexpected check. You stop and you give grace, you give gratitude, because then those things start coming to us. So back to the spiritual ritual. So I cleanse my space, and then I like to light a green candle. It's just for me symbolic of money. So I light my green candle, and I'm also a Reiki practitioner. So sometimes I just do some Reiki over the candle, talk to it, pray into it, set my intentions in that candle, and then I let it burn for as long as it needs to. Or sometimes I burn it at the same time every day, just to set that tradition with myself. And I like to rub my hands with my Florida water. So Florida water is also great for cleansing your space and wiping down your spiritual instruments. I like to put it on my hands and put it on my neck and wear it throughout the day. I love the scent and the smell of it. So this also brings you a very high vibration throughout the day. And like I said, you could use it to cleanse all of your other spiritual instruments that you might use. And one of my favorite parts, like I said, I forgot my lighter, but we can still go about this, is burning your ancestral money. So I love to talk to my ancestors. They still bring us a lot of wisdom and knowledge, even from the other side. So I like to burn it and say, I give this offering to my ancestors, known and unknown. I'm thankful and open to receiving more, and I hope this finds you in good spirits. So you just burn this at the tips, and this is fake money, ancestral money, and you're offering them something. You know, on the other side, I like to put on my altar also water for my ancestors. My mom passed away, and her favorite cereal was Kellogg's. So I put a little those little individual size Kellogg bowls on there for her. And my grandfather loved peanuts. He's from the South. And so I put some peanuts up there for him. And it's just a way of acknowledging them and thanking them and giving them grace and praise for what they've done. And just get a little piece of offering to see it come back to you. So that's what I love to do with this. And I have a few pieces that I burn, and I just reorder them. And then the last thing are my crystals. So each crystal brings a different vibration. They do different things for us, but holding those crystals and setting intentions into them is super powerful. And so some of those crystals that bring in abundance, whether financially, creatively, just different forms of abundance, are your pyrite, your citrines, tiger's eyes, jade, golden stone. So I have a pyrite here. I also have it on a ring because I carry it around. I definitely feel the impact of my pyrite because it brings in a different flow of confidence, of abundance, spirituality, and it just shifts the way that I think and my vibration throughout the day and how I feel. So I just want to pause for a second and see if there are any questions about the ritual itself and how I do it. Again, I sit at my altar, which your altar can look like anything for you. It could be a space on the floor. It's just about intention. If you just got a candle and a crystal and talk to your ancestors or just set your intentions, that's all you need. Like, again, I said, it's about your intentions and what you're setting out to do and your meaning and purpose behind that. Are there any questions from the group about this? Samira.
Thank you. I just wanted to know, where can you get good crystals? Because I've been trying to get into chakras and all that stuff, and I just don't know what's a good website to get good actual crystals.
Yeah. And so, and I asked that question before too, about good actual crystals, and crystals come from the earth. So it's really hard to find the fraudulent ones. A lot of times you will find a real crystal. And actually I had a cousin send me a picture of stones yesterday and asked me about them. And I'm like, ooh, girl, those are stones, not crystals. So it really just takes you practicing and learning them and researching them to see what they do, what they look like, what their purposes are, and how to use them. Some are good for laying on your head, laying on your heart, and things like that. I have a crystal Bible book. It was like $12 on Amazon, and I refer to it still to help me figure out, what do I use this crystal for and how can I use it to my advantage? And to answer your question, I like to use a site called Soulful Vibes. And if you Google it, I'm not sure if it's co or com, but it's Soulful Vibes. And they have a whole bunch of crystals that I like to order from. Especially with COVID going on, I couldn't go to the shop that I usually go to in the city, which I think is in Soho. But with those limitations, I've been using Soulful Vibes, and those are amazing crystals for me. So you could get them like the raw ones. These are the raw. And then you have your smooth crystals that are smoothing out a little bit. So it really depends on what you prefer to use. Great question. Anyone else? Zinga, are you still there? Any questions on Facebook?
I'm still here.
Yeah, we had a wardrobe change. Okay.
I got a little chilly, so I put on my shawl.
Yeah.
We don't have any questions, but Coach Jamie Lloyd says, look up Earth's Energy on Instagram.
Awesome. Thanks, Jamie. Is that Jamie's page? Does she sell crystals too, I think? Or she does the jewelry, I think.
She does the jewelry. I'm not sure if that's her page, but I trust her about crystals.
Yes, me too. That's what I said. Let us know. There's so many places, definitely, that you could get these resources from. And I got this candle from the grocery store. Quartz and Rainbows is where I usually get like my Florida water. Actually, I got this from the grocery store as well. You could also order this from Soulful Vibes if you want the Florida water, but it's also in the grocery store. I got it from ShopRite. Right. And then when I burn the ancestral money, I just make sure you have a fire safe bowl. You don't want to take yourself out with that. And that's it for the ritual part. And if there aren't any other questions, I can move on.
All right. Coach Jamie says it's not
Uh-huh.
her crystal shop, but it's an amazing family that she has bought from for years.
Perfect. Thank you for sharing that with us. Is she in the Zoom space?
She's on Facebook.
Okay, I was going to say, or if you could put it in the chat here, that would be helpful for us too.
Yes, I
Thank
just put it
you.
in there. You're welcome. Hey, Kim.
Awesome. Let's see. And I think it was Kim who mentioned before Hamlet that mentioned that she spent a lot of her younger years giving money to fix someone else's problems. Is that correct, Kim Hamlet?
Yes.
Awesome. Okay, so I want you to think about that, and we're going to try to be gentle with ourselves and show ourselves grace. And Kimberly, you just jumped on. Hey, girl. Do you want to help us? You want to partner up with Kim and Kimberly? You want to partner up in this next exercise, and you can support
Sure.
Kim Hamlet in this?
Sure.
Awesome. Okay. So Kim, what you said initially was that you spent a lot of your younger years helping someone else financially to fix their problems. So I want you to say that, and then Kim, I want you to say back to her, it wasn't your fault or anything like that that will help flip that for her and re-engage her and letting her know that it's okay, it's in the past. Be gentle with yourself and show yourself grace. Okay? So Kim, I want you to say that statement one more time, and Kimberly is going to support you in rethinking that statement.
Okay. Growing up, not young, but especially once before I got married and in relationships, I spent some time trying to, because that's just my nature. I'm a giving person,
Mm-hmm.
trying to help, a man out, settle his debts, and then I ended up getting in debt. Um, and it cost me. Then when I had, when my children were young, and I'm still kind of paying for it a little bit now.
Mm-hmm.
And so, sometimes I feel guilty about it, but
Mm-hmm.
then, I also talk to myself. It's what my mindset is, and I know that sometimes you have to change your mindset,
Mm-hmm.
because whatever you're thinking, that's what's going to come out your mouth, and then that's what's going to come into play. And so, those feelings of guilt, the feelings of, Kim, you're a bad person because you didn't, do what you needed to do with your money.
Mm-hmm.
Those feelings are starting to diminish. They're diminishing, and that's why I changed like debt to free, financially free.
Awesome.
Um, so it was a big awakening for me because, as I realized in a relationship, you're trying to save somebody, but it's not my
Mm-hmm.
job to save somebody, really. It's
Yeah.
so.
And a lot of us play that role, right? And then it comes back to us, and then we feel guilty about our choices and decisions. So if you could put those into two sentences, how would you explain that?
um, I just I made some mistakes. I made some mistakes that, kind of cost me at the cost of my financial freedom.
Right? So you made some mistakes that cost you your financial freedom.
Yes.
Awesome. And Kimberly, how would you support her in restating this?
I would say um, it's not your fault that you made the mistakes, that you did not have financial freedom. Um, we just did not get those lessons early on, or we're not taught how to be wise with our finances.
Mhm. Thank you, Kimberly. And Kim, do you receive that? And what's coming up for you? Hearing someone else let you know, reassure you that it's not your fault, that that's the decision you made back then.
It feels very supportive.
Mm-hmm.
Like somebody is listening to, how I feel.
Mm-hmm.
'Cause a lot of times people don't listen to how you actually feel.
Yeah.
They just listen to the circumstance, but not how you feel behind it. So that I felt better already. I mean, I've been
Awesome.
feeling better, but I feel better, because I
Yeah,
realized we're human and we're gonna make mistakes.
absolutely.
So, but just hearing a reassuring voice helps. It helps.
Yeah. And we are, you hit the nail right on the head. We are, so hold on one second. Let me go back. So yeah, we are just human, and we can only do what we can do. Let me stop sharing. Okay. Is everyone still here? Okay. So we are just human, and that's the best that we could do. I think we have people joining the group without the password. Yeah. And so just checking in, how is everyone doing? What are some takeaways? Are there any last minute thoughts, concerns, or questions? And apologies for whatever tech difficulties we just had or anyone else coming into the space. But yeah, anything else? All right. Like Robin said, it's a quiet group, but we did have a lot of interactions. So thank you for sharing this space with us and for your questions and joining in the conversation. Also, I just want to let you all know that I have an upcoming session on July 5th. That is our next full moon, and we are going to do a cutting the cord ceremony ritual thing. So we are going to just do some work through a meditation journey to cut ourselves from the energetic ties of any negative vibes, energies, thoughts, behaviors that have been holding us back as we enter into this new full moon. So it's $10, and the registration link is bit.ly/July cord cutting. And you could join that way, and we'll be in the Zoom space from 6 to 7:30 p.m. On Sunday. And Samira, you have your hand raised again?
Yes, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
I just wanted the link again to register, and oh, there it is.
It's right here in the chat. Yes. Thank you, Nazinga.
Thank
Yes. So if you're interested, we're going to cut the cord. I'm not sure if you all seen this on the Wake Up Everybody series, but I did this with them as well, where we're just channeling that anger, that energy, the negativity, and we are cutting the cord on those people, places, things, entities that no longer serve us, and just sitting in that space, starting over, starting fresh for this new moon as we walk into it. So that is the upcoming session. And I would love for you all to just stay in touch. This is my phone number, my email, and where you can follow me on Instagram. And if you have any questions that might come up after this session, please feel free to reach out to me, and we can work together from there if you need any assistance with anything. And thank you again for putting that in the chat. Thank you, Renee. Thank you all.
Thank you, Coach Shan. Can you just remind us what the date of that that cutting
Yes,
the session
let me
is?
go back. So it is Sunday, July 5th, 6 to 7:30, and it's open to all. It's not just for women. I would love to have some men in the space, and we're just letting go and making room for our next moon, our next month ahead of us, taking it step by step. And again, it's $10 in the virtual space. Thank you all. I hope you have an amazing day and amazing programming after this, and please stay in touch. And do you want me to just send you the, do I give you back the host, or how would you like that?
You don't even have to worry about it.
Okay. Thank you so much for your help.
Of course. Thank you so much for being with us, for taking us through this journey of being able to identify some of the financially, or some of the limiting beliefs that we have.
Yeah.
About, you know, the security that we are seeking in lots of different ways. So
yes.
I absolutely appreciate it.
Awesome. Oh, I didn't notice my video was off. Awesome. Yes, please continue to secure your bags, whichever bags those are. And just I hope you could use the practices that we use today just to see some differences and shifts in your mindset. All right. Everyone have a good one.
Thank you,
Bye.
Coach Shan.
Thank you. Bye.